it all started with Stephen A. Smith on some platform. I still have yet to find a clip. Essentially saying Kobe Bryant is not in the GOAT discussion. And assuming Stephen A., he was probably relatively animated and had a tone in his voice that could be deemed as disrespectful. So then this was on January 3rd, so this is already a week old. But Stephen A. Smith gets called out by former NBA player Rashad McCants on the Gills Arena show, saying Stephen A. Smith did not have this energy against Kobe when he was alive. He's saying exactly what needs to be said with Stephen A., speaking so foolishly and disrespectfully on Kobe Bryant just to boost LeBron. It's so distasteful and stupid. Okay, so that's the first tweet, and I will play it. We will just play it on Stephen A. Smith's perspective because he did respond to that on his own platform, the Stephen A. Smith Show, and we'll play it on 1.5 speed. This was Stephen A.'s response to Rashad McCants. So I'll put that 1.5, and let's go ahead and play that real quick.
Somebody, a former NBA player, made news on a different podcast talking about me, so I feel the need, why run from it, just address it head on. Recently I spoke on Allen Iverson's thoughts that the great Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, should not be ahead of LeBron James on the all-time list as the greatest player in NBA history, or number 2 to Michael Jordan. And obviously there were people who took umbrage to that. One of them was former NBA player Rashad McCants, who expressed his opinions on what I said when he appeared on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. Listen to what Rashad McCants had to say.
So when I hear Stephen A. going off on these rants about how Kobe Bryant is not this and not that, you didn't have that energy when he was here. Mm-hmm. Where was that energy when he was alive? And stop bringing this man who passed to extend your narrative. Yeah. Why would Kobe be in the conversation for you to kill him off so LeBron can live higher than him? Right. It don't make no fucking sense. Let the man rest. Let's keep him wherever everyone has him. You got him 1, you got him 2, you got him 3. We don't need nobody trying to push him.
Yo, shout out to Rico for the 5 gifted, man. Appreciate you. I'll put you on the list. Shout out to Rico. Season 6 draft class. Bus.
Him down, push him away so somebody else can be elevated. LeBron gonna be LeBron. Yeah. Mike gonna be Mike. We've been comparing Kobe, Mike forever. Here comes LeBron. Okay, join the conversation, my nigga, but don't be trying to diminish my man's name. Yeah. Like he wasn't that
Shout out to Kimi Wonder for the sub.
Couple of things. Rashad McCants, first order of business, respectfully. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't have a goddamn clue. Period.
Oh, hold on. Shout out to Zudo for the 5 gifted. Man, I thought, I ain't gonna lie. Said the same thing with Sage. I thought a lot of motherfuckers were going to be December merchants. But we're different over here. We're different over here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For everyone gifting more than 1 sub, go ahead and whisper me on Twitch what the customizations you guys want. But yeah.
You don't know. So let me educate you. Number 1, if you're going to quote me accurately. The receipts are there. I have never, nor would I ever, diminish the Black Mamba. That's number 1. Number 2, I didn't have the energy when he was here. Kobe was a friend of mine.
I got a job.
I told Kobe to his face when he was alive.
Rico, man.
Because I've been calling LeBron number 2 to Michael Jordan before Kobe passed away, God rest his soul. That is a fact. It is something that we debated about. When Shaquille O'Neal comes on the show a little bit later on today, he'll confirm that for you. Just ask him, because he likes you too. Now, I'm not sitting there coming at you derogatorily as if I got a beef with you. I got a problem with you. I don't know you that well, but I got mad respect for you. You were a college basketball player in North Carolina. You won a national championship. Okay, in 2005, I saw you against Michigan State. I saw you against Illinois. I saw you against Villanova. I know who you are and what the hell you can do. Mad respect to you, and I know you know the game. But evidently, you need lessons on how to quote people accurately and not to come across as somebody who's personalizing some kind of comments just because you don't like them. I'm not here to agree with you, just like you wasn't on Gilbert Arenas' podcast to agree with me. You entitled to your damn opinion, I'm entitled to my damn opinion. What's the problem? Why is it that it's hating just because I don't have him as number 2 all time? I think Kobe Bryant is the second greatest 2 guard in the history of basketball behind Michael Jordan. You can debate whether or not he's the greatest Laker of all time. I would happen to say he's number 2 to Magic Johnson because Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard to have ever lived. He's a quintessential point guard who galvanized the troops around him and went to 9 NBA finals in a decade and won 5 titles. That's my opinion. There are plenty of people who would disagree with that, but they wouldn't label it as demeaning this man and literally bringing up his death to point out as if I'm tainting his legacy and tainting his soul, which I would never do. He was a friend of mine. I covered him for years. Yes, we knew each other on a personal level. We spoke on a personal level, which ain't really anybody's business, but those who know, know. But even when he was alive, I said, I got MJ as number 1, LeBron as number 2. Now, where would I come up with that? I would come up with that because he was playing with Shaq when Shaq was in his prime as the most dominant force in the game and arguably our lifetime outside of Wilt Chamberlain in some people's eyes, even including Wilt Chamberlain in some people's eyes, even though Wilt Chamberlain was averaged 50 and 25 in a season. Mm-hmm. But those were my feelings. I pointed that out. I pointed out how the Lakers ultimately disbanded because of the friction that existed between him and Shaq. I pointed out how Kobe ultimately became a scoring champion and a league MVP, and in the process of doing so went back to 3 straight NBA finals with Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum and deserved mad credit for that. But I pointed out the blowout loss in the finals to KG and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce and Rondo in the finals. We're talking basketball. That's it. You know it better than me. You played on an elite level collegiately. You played in the NBA for 4 to 5 years. We can't talk basketball without you going on a podcast, going the hell off like somebody insulted your mama or your brother or your friend or somebody. Maybe that's what Kobe was to you. I'm not aware of that, don't know, not even questioning it. What I'm simply saying is we're talking basketball. That's it, bro. That's it.
So essentially that's his point. Like, yo, Rashad McCants, you are bugging the fuck out. You took it way more personally than you needed to. We were just talking basketball. And I completely agree. I completely agree. I think that was such a crazy reach that Rashad McCants went to in terms of personalizing this whole conversation. Stephen A. kept it at basketball. Like, we can't even criticize Kobe Bryant without it being disrespectful to a dead man. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I don't think there was anything wrong with what Stephen A. Smith said. I don't think he attacked his character. I don't think he called him a bitch. I don't think he called him a terrible father, this, that, and the third. We were just having basketball conversations. And to say Kobe Bryant is a top 5, top 7 player of all time, out of all the players who have played this goddamn sport, I don't think that's disrespectful. That's just someone with an opinion. What I do find interesting, though, and I'm glad I'm revisiting this conversation, is Rashad McCants' whole point is, yo, this was the conversation at 1 and 2. You don't have to disrespect the conversation. Just, hey, this is where they at. You don't gotta push them aside just because you want to uplift this player, right? That's his whole point. Respect the dead, one might say, right? But Rashad McCants is the same person, and I just remembered this yesterday, who said this. I'm trying to bring up the clip right now. Who said this.
I think that the real hoopers know that Kevin Durant is going to...
Shout the Murph for the prime sub, man.
I think that the real hoopers know that Kevin Durant is going to go down as a better basketball player
than LeBron.
Than LeBron. At the end of the road, not right now. But promotion, if you look at Steph, LeBron, and KD, the promotion between Steph and LeBron is here. Mm-hmm. KD's here. I don't know if he's presentable or marketable. I don't know what it is, but they have more commercials.
Mm-hmm. The dad thing that their fathers. It kind of also with the LeBron conversation, because he has like a college-age son and older kids, and Zuri's like 10 or 11 now. It like makes him like seem like a little bit older than he actually is. You look at KD.
And KD's not that young from them.
He's not, but when
he's not being pushed.
Right.
He's not being pushed over the limit. And you would think, because he's a Nike guy, he's a champion, he came in with just as much hype as LeBron. Mm-hmm. You know, Texas and DC assault, all that stuff. It's like, well, why is KD not being seen as top 3 all time?
Because the media killed off the legacy when he left. That's fucked up.
When he went to
that's fucked up.
Golden State?
Because he could have eclipsed LeBron maybe 4 years ago.
But just like LeBron got clipped
when he went to Miami.
Yeah. Right?
Go back to Cleveland and win and like revitalize.
Revitalize it.
Yeah. What happened is the NBA is holding, the media is holding a standard on 3 people. And it's not fair because the 3 people were in three main cities, right? You're in when the NBA is thriving, when the NBA is making.
That's essentially the end of what Rashad said, but I just find it interesting that this is the same dude. And I guess what he said on the podcast was his ranking is just MJ, Kobe, and everyone else. So even with what he said, KD can just be third. But he is open to pushing people aside that were there for the sake of someone newer. That has come straight from his mouth. He is okay despite Isaiah Thomas and all these dudes talking about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is top 3 all time. LeBron James, and NBA players have said this as well. LeBron James is arguably the greatest of all time. He's okay with moving aside LeBron for some guy who is newer because he believes that this guy is newer for X reasons. I do find it interesting for Mr. Basketball Guy who holds his hi-hat on, basketball conversations and everyone else just talking about narrative and this and the third. These are back-to-back takes of Rashad not even talking about basketball. This is all narrative talk. Bringing up Kobe's death instead of attacking Stephen A. Smith's basketball points. That's kind of crazy. Talking about marketing and fatherhood, being a better father in terms of why people view LeBron as a better player than KD. I don't know what we're doing, but you know what we are doing is shouting out KJH Higgy 34 for the 20 gifted. Shout out to KJH Higgy for the 20 gifted. I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna write you down 20 gifted. Again, just whisper me what you want. I got 3 asterisks on your shit. 20 gifted. You can do a lot with that. Man. Appreciate you. So that's what Rashad McCants said like a couple months ago. And I saw this clip. They were actually streaming while we were streaming. I just didn't want to wait till they got to that point. But after Stephen A. Smith said what he said, he also said in the same clip that Shaquille O'Neal was going to come on his platform and he would confront him about the same issue. And Shaquille O'Neal had this to say. If it would load, that'd be fucking fantastic. That'd be great, right? That'd be amazing. Hold on, chat. Here we go.
I'm thinking Kobe Bryant's top 10 all time, probably top 5. He's not number 2 all time in the history of basketball. What's wrong with that, Shaq?
But I have a problem with what you said. Like, my thing is, it doesn't matter who the GOAT is. My guy should be in the conversation.
Yes.
No, but hold on. So if you guys just throw him out of the conversation. So somehow it just went from Mike to LeBron, and you just threw my guy out of the conversation. His name needs to be in there all the time. Mm-hmm. And when his name is not in there, I think people have a problem.
I look at Kobe, there is nothing on earth to question the greatness of Kobe Bryant, who to me is one of the greatest of all time. But it did help for those first 3 rings that he had you in your prime to some degree.
That's not the point. The point everybody is making is don't leave him out the conversation.
I'm not leaving him out the conversation.
You are. I don't mind people talking about who their GOAT is, but you definitely got to have my boy in that conversation.
I definitely will, and I definitely will.
So, yeah, Stephen A. Smith, he folded. I ain't gonna lie. He should have stood on business right there, because now he looks like a hypocrite with everything that he said. With that being said, though, there is still a difference between what Shaq said compared to what Rashad said. I think they have the same premise. Kobe should be in the GOAT conversation. But Rashad just had to add that extra sauce of, hey, you're only doing this because Kobe's dead, man. Don't do that shit. Like, oh my God. Like, yo, I just don't have him in the greatest of all time conversation. Like, goddamn. And now we arrive to this. Well, first of all, Rashad saw that clip and said, hey, I told y'all so, man. Even as this shirt right here saying, I'm sorry, Rashad. But this conversation is interesting as fuck. It is interesting as fuck. So let's go ahead and watch it. Man.
Floor is yours. What's your response to Mr. Smith?
I accept your apology. Clear as day. You know? I didn't need Shaq to go do that, but I appreciate my brother Shaq stepping, because I guess it was only 2 people that it struck a chord with. Out of all the 5,000 players that ever watched Kobe Bryant play, me and Shaq felt some type of way. And that's unfortunate. But I know a lot of people can't say what they really feel when it come down to a Kobe Bryant, because he's not here no more. And he didn't really fuck with a lot of people. So a lot of people not gonna come to his defense, but that's my brother in blood. Like, that's my man's. So it is kind of personal for me and the family and his children, and to hear anything negative come out of anybody's mouth when referring to him when he's passed, it should be nothing but positivity, because he has people coming after him.
Can someone find me the clip of what Stephen A. Smith originally? Can someone find that, bro? Cause him bringing up Kobe's family, and that's my brother for like, I need to see the clip. I need to see the clip, bro. This is insane.
So it's like, if that wasn't the case and Kobe was still here, it's fair game. It's fair game, because Kobe can defend himself. But if I gotta step up and be the guy no one likes, the guy everybody thinks is this and that, he shouldn't be talking. Well, here I am, talking about Kobe, protecting his name and his legacy. Because at the end of the day, you...
Oh my God, shout out to Lucas for the 10 gifted, man. Big Lucas. Shout out to Lucas.
Only want positive things to be said about you and your legacy when you're done with the game, when you're done with life. And that's all I was saying. It's like, oh, well, Kobe, he had Shaq for 3 years, and we talking about skill. We're talking about teammates. We talking about when you watch the game of basketball, you watch them Kobe Bryant highlights, man, it ain't no way you don't put him beside Michael Jordan. So here's what I'll do, for the sake of conversation. Let's start the criteria here. Mike, Kobe will now be out of the conversation. We'll start it with LeBron. We don't even need to mention these two no more. They are that good when it comes to the blueprint of the game. Without stats and all that other shit, they out. Now, let's start with stats. You start with LeBron, everybody else can fall in fucking line. LeBron is the GOAT. But that's because we not mentioning these other two niggas no more. They not even in.
What the What kind of dick suck is this, bro? All right, I'm playing that 1.5. I'm playing that 1.5. What the? What the? Oh my God. Shout out to Yoshi for continuing the gift, bro. Yo, they not in the convo because they transcend everyone. Now that's dick suck. Jesus Christ, bro. I mean, if that's how you feel, then I guess I can see how it would be deemed as disrespect to put anyone above Kobe, aside from Mike. If you deadass think they are so good that they are tier 0, okay. I mean, hey, okay. I get it.
In the conversation. Player 99, player 98. Cool. Now y'all can have y'all, you know, whoever he paying to say he the best, whatever the case may be. You like him, you like him. He the most biggest IQ guy, all that shit, cool. You won't hear nothing else come from me. Because I'm taking these two guys out of the conversation. They ain't in it no more. For me. I don't know about anybody else. Because there's a long list of NBA.
Look at Gil. Look at Gil. Look at Gil.
Out of the conversation. They ain't in it no more. For me. I don't know about anybody.
Yo.
Else. Because there's a long list of NBA players that say what I say. And agree and feel the way I agree. Because we played. We watched it. We seen it. Shaq played with Mike and played against Mike before he played with Kobe. Then he won with Kobe and was able to say, shit, damn, man, this dude really is that guy. Now, he might have had some comments that said that LeBron was the GOAT at some point, because the GOAT of accomplishments does exist. So when you're the #1 all-time scorer, you got to throw some respect on that shit. And I agree. But skill-wise and to play the game-wise and what we seen, man, it's two guys that just, I seen the toughest defense in the world on this dude. Kobe Bryant created moves because of this nigga's defense was that good. We ain't never seen that shit. He was forced to do shit you could never do. I just want the respect to just be there. I don't think it needs to be any malice or anything like I'm trying to attack Stephen A. I just feel personal when my man is gone. I gotta protect this. I gotta protect it. And that's what I'm here for. I stand on business. For real.
But again, I just need to see that original clip first, because it couldn't be that bad, right? It can't be that bad, right?
For real. I ain't gotta play. I ain't Kobe. I ain't none of that. But bro, this is my bro. That's all I was saying. This is my bro. But thank you for the 12 minutes of promo. My IG's on fire. I'm looking for an agent, manager, whoever wants to step up. Yeah, man, I do this shit for real.
And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got. I told y'all in 2024, watch out for the rollout game, because this is about to get hella nasty. And this was all part of a rollout. Rollout alert. Rollout alert. Rollout alert. I respect it.
Carry on.
So go debate is subjective. People have their pick. There isn't anything that will change a lot of people's minds, whether it's MJ, LeBron, Kobe, even Kareem. But Gil, why do players have so much more respect for Kobe and his contribution to the game than fans or media do?
Players are in the lion's cage with the lions, right? Media watches, right? So, when you have to guard someone, 43, 48 minutes, day in and day out, you know who's who. You know who's a killer, right? Your stats don't mean anything. It's not like you take in consideration double teams and triple teams, right? None of that factors in. It doesn't factor in how high a guy can jump, how fast he is, what type of engine he has, what is he working with, how is he starting this race. Media they don't factor any of that in because if they haven't played, they wouldn't know, that this guy has if we're running a 100-yard race, he already at the 60-yard line when we start because, he got this engine. So for this guy to even get close, for this guy to even lose by 10 yards, in a sense, that is the win for us because the one guy had a 60-yard head start, right? So,
but even that though, I get what he's saying as a non-hooper myself, like a non-NBA hooper. I get what he's saying. That logically makes sense. It is more impressive for a Toyota Corolla to keep up with a Lamborghini for the first 30 seconds of a race, if you can pull that off. But at the end of the day, the Lamborghini is faster. At the end of the day, the Lamborghini performs better. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, in terms of just impressiveness, I think Isaiah Thomas's 2017 campaign was one of the most impressive campaigns pound for pound that I've ever seen. To average 29 a game and lead your team to the first seed in any conference, I don't give a fuck if it was the weak East, at 5'8", 5'9", that is some of the most impressive shit I've ever seen. But at the end of the day, if we break down the skills of the game, yes, it's impressive, but you're still not better than Curry. Yes, it's impressive, you're still not better than Russ. Yes, it's impressive, you're still not better than Magic Johnson. I'm sorry, if this is a pound for pound thing, then I'm gonna be honest with you, that might be the argument for Kobe, deadass. Because I've been asking people, what is the argument for Kobe Bryant? And I think I have come to terms that the argument that a lot of people have is, number one, the pound for pound argument. Everyone else in that top 10 has something gifted about them athletically that puts them over that edge, whether they be extremely tall, extremely fast, you know what I'm saying, extreme, I don't know, hand-eye coordination if we talk about, Steph Curry. But Kobe at the end of the day is a 6'6" shooting guard that didn't have anything about him that jumped out of the stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? And for him to do what he did, pound for pound, you can argue that he is the greatest of all time. Also, you can argue best player in the hardest era. And I think those are relatively valid arguments. They're weak arguments compared to the argument that MJ and LeBron would have, but that there's an argument there. So if you want to say Kobe deserves to be in the GOAT conversation right there, hey, I'll give that to you. But what Gil is talking about, though, I disagree. I think we can, as fans and as players, we can still acknowledge the fact that player B did something more impressive than player A given player B's circumstances, but at the end of the day, player A is still better. So
that's what we see as players, right? That's why when you hear players talk about other players, that's what's respected, not what the media. We really don't care because y'all are just looking at stats. Y'all don't have no feel for it.
Now, I need you guys to remember that statement right there. I need y'all to remember that statement right there by Gil. Media members and non-hoopers, they just stat watch. Need y'all to remember that right there.
Right, so that's what we see as players, right? That's why when you hear players talk about other players, that's what's respected, not what the media. We really don't care because y'all are just looking at stats. Y'all don't have no feel for it. Y'all don't understand it. Y'all never sat in front of that guy and see how hard it is to guard. But
I think that's a big part of it too. A lot of the players that are starting like podcasts and shit like that, we're talking about Matt Barnes, Steven Jackson, Gilbert Arenas, Shaquille O'Neal, Paul George, Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce. These are 2000s dudes. So they have an incentive to say that the dude that dominated their era had to be the best. You know what I'm saying? It's the same reason, people of today's era call LeBron the GOAT. Is because they just didn't see Michael Jordan. They don't have the proper perspective of what Michael Jordan was like in his prime. And a lot of these players, they're going up against Kobe. They see how hard it is to guard against Kobe. They see how hard it is to guard Kobe, like what Gil said. And when you see bro dropping 35 on you year in and year out, there comes a point where you're like, no one can be better than this guy, right? Like dead ass. So
the question is this.
I understand where the perspective is coming from.
When does reality kick in when we're having debates, right? Before Michael Jordan, there was someone on top, right? Whoever that was, they got pushed the fuck out. If Kobe's number 2, before he was number 2, who was number 2, right? Mm-hmm. They had to get put in. He had to move somebody out. So it ain't shitting on anyone's name because you don't mention them anymore or they move. Like Kobe was the next Jordan. Right, he was the next Jordan. He was compared. There was times where he said, I'm 1A, he's 1B, right? The reason he's not in the GOAT debate anymore is because they have LeBron as the definite 2, right? So there's no, if they move Kobe to 3 in the debate, there's no point of even having that conversation because he can't collect stats anymore. So his stats ain't collectible anymore. So whatever his stats are, whatever his resume is, it's stopped. So if someone caught him, that's who gets put into the GOAT debate, just like when Kobe, whoever was in front of Kobe and he caught him, they don't talk about 3.
So Michael would have been pushed out there.
So Gil's point, there's some merit to it, but you will see earlier on, he is very, very strict on this two-man race argument of if you ain't 2, you don't got an argument for real. And I disagree with that. There have been multiple MVP races in history where that percentage of who should win the MVP has been divvied up pretty evenly between 3 to 4 players. So to say that just because you're third in the conversation, you have no place in the conversation is kind of crazy to me. I don't believe it is a two-man race thing. But I do agree with the fact that, just because someone new comes in, and there is a valid argument to put him ahead of someone in the past, that does not inherently mean that you're disrespecting someone from the past. Like, that's crazy. Like, relax. You don't gotta personalize it and talk about, man, what Kobe's family has gone through. I'm not tolerating any disrespect. Like, calm down, bro. Calm down.
Correct.
If someone caught him.
No, because Kobe caught him and passed him. So he would have been pushed out.
What year did anybody say Kobe was number 1?
I'm not saying by your metric, what you just said.
I just said that.
You said when Michael came in, he had to push somebody out.
Mm-hmm.
Then here come Kobe. So who would get pushed out if Kobe comes in? Michael.
Number 2.
That means
number 2.
No, I'm not saying number 2. If Kobe comes in as number 2,
How did he came in the league as number 2?
No, man, I'm just saying it's a conversation.
Okay, but what I'm saying is think about what I'm saying. If Michael Jordan is in the 90s number 1, who's number 2 in the 90s of all time?
Doesn't matter.
It does.
I'm saying what you just said.
It does. So listen to what I'm saying. If this is Jordan, who's number 2? Because Kobe ain't in the league yet when Jordan's number 1. So who's number 2? That means whatever Kobe did.
Number 2? Okay, so if you don't even know, who number 2 is.
Wilt, whatever, Magic, whatever.
They all got pushed out, right?
They got pushed out by Kobe.
No, they got pushed out by Mike.
No, Mike was already, he was number 1.
Who was number 1 before Mike?
They didn't have one. They didn't have a GOAT. They didn't have a GOAT yet. The first GOAT in the
Wilt Chamberlain wasn't.
They didn't have
Bill Russell.
But this is what I'm talking about, though. With Rashad's inconsistency. He's literally talking about Kobe pushed out Wilt Chamberlain. A dead man by the time Kobe really hit his prime. Oh, I think Wilt died in 99. Yeah, Kobe came in at 96. Wilt died at 99. So by the time Kobe was in these conversations, Wilt is a dead man. But he doesn't have this energy about protecting Wilt Chamberlain, a dead man who couldn't put up stats, he was 1 and 2. So, just leave it at that. Why does Kobe have to come in? This is insane. And also, like I said yesterday, I would love to know what Rashad's stance was on when UD was disrespecting Bill Russell a couple weeks ago. When UD said, fuck Bill Russell. A dead man who can't defend himself. A dead man who, even if he was alive today, probably could not defend himself and would not want to defend himself because of how old he is. But
Wasn't
have no GOAT.
Nobody. Kareem wasn't, because Kareem led the league in all-time points.
They didn't have a GOAT.
They didn't have a GOAT.
Why you think Kareem?
But that ain't what Isaiah Thomas said. So what you saying don't have no merit, because Isaiah Thomas said, "Captain, when he walked in the room, we bowed."
Who?
Isaiah Thomas said it.
That's one person.
It don't matter about one person. He said we all came down. That's Cap. That's Cap when he came in. That's Big Cap. So when Big Cap stopped, it come in Magic and Bird. They didn't get the same kind of bravado, but then Mike comes in. Mike gets the bravado.
Okay.
Here comes Kobe. Now you
Cap
just
is
said
second. So
that
if Jordan's in front, Cap is second.
But you said the collectible stats, because LeBron is still collecting stats. Mike's not collecting stats no more. So how is it that you say, okay, because Kobe's not collecting stats no more, we can push him out because here's LeBron, but Mike ain't been collecting stats since fucking 2002.
And who passed him?
Kobe Bryant passed him.
When?
What do you mean when? When he passed it, Michael Jordan in the scoring list. Do you follow basketball?
Yeah, so the scoring.
Okay.
I need y'all to understand what he is saying. Prior to this free throw, as a basketball player, Kobe Bryant was not better than Michael Jordan.
1 point away from matching Michael Jordan for third all time, and now a single free throw away.
At that point right there, they became equals all time.
From becoming the NBA's third all-time leading scorer. So probably not the pageantry most people wanted to see, but effective nonetheless, and appropriate because not only did his first point come to the...
And at that free throw right there, Kobe Bryant became a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. Let me, in case y'all missed it, right here, this free throw right here, 37-32 second quarter.
Effective nonetheless, and appropriate because not only did his first point...
Boom, pass Mike right there. Right there. As soon as the ball went through the hoop, that is when Kobe Bryant became a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. Side note, this is the same dude that for this whole podcast has been holding himself to the, hey, I'm not a stat watcher guy, but apparently that was the differentiating factor for him. A stat.
So what are you talking about? He passed him.
In the scoring list, that didn't put him in front of Michael Jordan of all time.
Oh my gosh.
And he's doubling down to y'all.
So how does it?
Michael Jordan.
So how does LeBron James get in front of Kobe Bryant all the time?
Because his metrics said he was a better player so far.
Excuse me? You talking stats? You just said we're not talking stats.
And that is where Gilbert Arenas fucked up. And that is where Gilbert Arenas fucked up. Because for the rest of this interview, for a guy who, in the same interview, in the same podcast, is saying, yo, the difference between the media and the players is we was in the trenches. We don't look at stats. All y'all do is look at stats. We was in the trenches for real. The rest of this podcast, Gilbert Arenas hangs his whole argument on statistics. And I just find it funny because, oh my God, it's okay to use statistics. It's okay to back up your claims with data and analytics and evidence, empirical evidence. It is okay. I promise you. You're not going to look like a nerd for real. You're actually going to look like you know what you're talking about if you use statistics. It is only in basketball conversations where using data, using evidence, using numbers to back up what you're saying instead of just off of vibes is looked down upon. It is only in basketball conversations, I swear to God. Because in any other realm, you are lifted up, you are backed up, you are praised for using analytics to back up the shit that you're saying, specifically in politics. Because if you don't, you're just talking out of your ass. You're talking with feelings in mind. You're just talking out of emotion. But if you back up your evidence, if you back up your claim with evidence, now you got an actually compelling case. It's only in basketball where players try so hard to not be analytically based just because they don't want to be looked at as a nerd. It is insane, bro. It's insane. It's insane.
Just said we're not talking stats.
How long was LeBron the number 2?
Here we go.
2015, 14? Right, they didn't have him in there, 2014, 15 as the second best? Right?
Never.
Right now it's 50-50 on who's number 1.
Never.
That's the problem.
No, it's
right
not.
now, when you hit LeBron James, who is the number 1 player ever? It's a 50-50 thing.
Let me just smoke this
60-40, so
conversation.
that means whoever's third, there's no point of...
The only way LeBron James can be mentioned in this conversation is with stats. Period. If you don't bring LeBron James stats into play, no NBA player is considering him and his body of work, his skill set, and any close to Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, because the skill sets are different. Now, you talk about stats, that's when you gotta bring LeBron in because of the stats. But players don't do that.
Skill set? What do you mean skill set? How he looked playing the game? Yeah.
Look at Kenyon Martin, yo.
How he looked? Nigga, footwork. The shit you said in the interview. Do I need to post what you said? Do you want me to play what you said in the interview about Kobe Bryant being better than LeBron James? You said it.
Michael Jordan was sexy what he did. Kobe followed suit. LeBron James is like a Hummer. He don't have the sexiest game, right? So if you're going off of how fine the girl looks, then yes, Kobe is the second finest to Michael Jordan. But is that all you're going off of? How sexy it looked when he played?
So, Kenny, I want to...
That's what I'm asking. Like, like...
Is that what you consider Michael Jordan? Whatever you consider Michael Jordan to be, Kobe's in the same breath.
So
He was.
Then how can he be skipped by anybody else?
He was.
If they're breathing the same air.
He was.
Kenny, I want to get your thoughts on this subject.
Oh, do you?
I know I've seen you over here.
Oh, listen, hey, I'm enjoying the conversation just like everybody in the chat.
You know, but like Rashad said, you got the opportunity to guard Kobe. So do you feel like his name belongs in that GOAT combo?
It does, but it's one single solitary thing that, because the question that you asked was why do the players look at Kobe different than the media?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest, bro. This is such a semantics conversation. This is like arguing is I don't know, Devin Booker top 5, but we all know when you're arguing is Devin Booker top 5, you're not gonna go more than Devin Booker being at number 5. You know what I'm saying? If we did a poll on who the greatest player of all time is, even if it is players, it goes 40 Michael Jordan, let's say 30 LeBron, and the rest of the 30% is divided between 10% goes to Kareem, 10% goes to Kobe, 10% goes to Wilt. Are you really in the conversation? Like, deadass. Serious conversation. Are you really in the conversation when the vast majority of people have these two, the debate is between these two, and you're only brought in once every 8 days? Are you really in the conversation? Are you really in the MVP conversation when the whole season we be talking about Giannis and Jokic, and then Tatum is 6th in MVP? Like, are you really in the conversation? I guess, right? I guess he should be in the conversation. But I don't think you really are in the conversation. I don't know. I don't know why it matters if he's in the conversation, if he's never actually winning the argument. And that too, if you legitimately don't have a compelling case as to why you should be, because this is superlative talk. This is greatest of all time talk. And if you don't have an argument to be the greatest of all time, lay down to me what Kobe did in his career that you could say is better and are things that any other NBA player just hasn't done. Lay that out to me. And if you can't, he's not in the conversation. Now, like what I said earlier in the stream, there actually is a case. There actually is a case, though. But it's weak, though. I ain't gonna lie, it's weak.
All right?
Medium fans.
When it comes to certain things and certain people have memory like an elephant, right? with no controversy on Kobe's book, he'll still be in the conversation. People try to use that when they're having a debate, unfortunately.
Yes.
Right? If we call it spade. Not us, not players, media and fans, is what I'm saying. So the question that he asked was, so I'm just answering the question that you asked.
Did he just bring up Denver? Is that what he's talking about? I don't know the last time I had a basketball conversation with someone and someone brought up Denver when it came to a basketball conversation.
And they can continue their fucking debate. I'm enjoying it. But I think it's that people try to put into the narrative of it when it comes to certain conversations, behind closed doors, right? They're not gonna mention it to the masses, but behind closed doors when we're having these conversations. But what about? And then it's like, the room gets silent.
Because it's moving the
right?
goalposts.
But for us, for me, Kobe has never been out of the best basketball player of all time debate. Never. Because I played against him. I had guarded. Badass man. The ball in his hand. Competitive as they come, 5 rings, all of it. You can't talk about because he had Shaq. No, fuck it. He got 5 rings, man. And he is who he is. Through our generation of playing, my 15 years of playing basketball, Kobe Bryant was the best basketball player in the National Basketball Association. Without fucking question.
Damn, man.
Right?
You got it. You got it, gang. You got it.
So for me,
high five, Kenyon, goddamn.
Right, for me, he always has been here, right? I look at him and so there's always going to be a debate. Everything is subjective to everybody's opinion. Everybody has an opinion about it. So respect everybody's opinion about it. That's all I'm like, because it's.
Where do you rank him?
I don't rank, I don't care, to be honest with you, Gil.
Okay, but
I look at it in generations, bro. The way I look at basketball, I look at it in generational, right? Because there was one dominant basketball player in every generation of basketball that the league knew when they put them uniform on, he the one, right? That's the way I look at it. Because when you don't, I hear Michael Jordan when they ask him about it. It's shitting on the people that played before him if they consider him this. And this is coming from the man himself. Right? And I think about that. I'm not going to say that Kareem wasn't great when he was. I'm not going to say Wilton wasn't the greatest at his time. I'm not going to say that because they were. When Michael Jordan played, absolutely was the best thing smoking. Yes. When Kobe played, absolutely, they held the torch. LeBron has held the torch, right?
Right now.
So that's just what I think. I don't have a best basketball. Am I a Michael Jordan fan? Absolutely. But I didn't grow up a Michael Jordan fan like everybody else. If you ask me, people don't put Isaiah Thomas as one of the best. I fucking admire Isaiah.
With all due respect, this is a cop-out answer because literally just 3 minutes ago, he said Kobe Bryant is in the conversation for the best player of all time. So he already seceded to the fact that, he does have those conversations and he has to have an answer to that question. And even when we talk about the generations, I mean, you're already seceding to the fact that you value rankings, but it is what it is.
Thomas for what he did for the game at the size he was and what he did.
Facts.
So I look at basketball in a different light than everybody else. I'm not into putting people here and here and saying who. No, I don't. It's the same thing with basketball. It's the same thing with music. It's the same thing. Who's the best quarterback of all time? Who's the best wide receiver? Who's the best run? All this shit is subject to everybody's opinion. And everybody's entitled to that opinion, right?
I agree with those overarching point that people are entitled to their own opinion. If they just keep it basketball, that's fine. I do agree with that though.
So let's appreciate people for what they've done for the sport that we care so much about and their craft that they put out there while they're doing it.
I get that.
Just the way I look at it.
But there is ranking, and it's just natural. But at the end of the day, when we say GOAT debate, right? Whoever's 3, 4, and 5, you're not in the debate anymore.
So let's look up the term. So when did everybody? So LL started the term GOAT.
No, it's a woman. But what I'm saying.
So what year was that?
90.
So 1990, right? Is when the acronym greatest of all time started,
1991,
right? So the people that played, the people that before 1990 wasn't GOATs in there?
No.
Why not?
Why?
Because it wasn't a term?
Because it didn't say it?
Because it wasn't a term yet?
Because the league started in '78 when all the black people emerged, so they didn't really look at the league before that.
So let me ask you this.
Julius Erving.
So let me
Julius
ask you this.
Erving wasn't
Hold on, let me ask you this,
considered
Gilbert.
best?
Gilbert, let me ask you this.
No.
No, it's a little bit more, Chad. There's a little bit more. I don't know.
So when they started throwing this word gentrification out and shit like that, had that not been going on? Moving people out of neighborhoods or other people.
Great point.
So it's the same fucking shit, dog.
Great point.
but
They was doing it before then just because somebody put a fucking tag on it. Now people start using that.
I
That's
agree
it.
with
Hey, but
opinion
at
on
the
that.
end of the
I
day-
So
agree
those
with
people were
opinion
great
on
in their own respective, dog.
Cool, but at the end of the day, when the NBA merged and both parties, the black culture and the white culture merged, that's when they actually started figuring out who is the best talent in the NBA.
And
Because the
there was a
ABA
dominant
said
player.
we have the best.
And there was
The
a dominant
NBA
player each
says,
generation.
but they're saying we have the best. When the ABA is like, nah, we have the best. So when they merged it, that's when the time started really ticking.
And that was the only. And so when they merged, who was the best player?
So
Julius
when they
Erving.
merged, who was the best player?
Julius Erving.
Magic, Julius.
So who was the best player when they merged?
Magic,
So there was no
Julius-
one best player.
no.
There was not one guy.
No.
He do not want to say it because he don't want to be wrong.
I've already
He do not want to be wrong.
I've already asked the Clyde Drexlers and all of that. Who
Before
was the,
that.
Who
So
was
Clyde was there when they merged?
No.
Clyde was around when they merged?
No.
In 83.
No.
Clyde was in it. Clyde was around when they merged?
83.
Clyde was around when they merged?
83. So the top 10.
So what's Clyde around?
Bill, why you not
You brought
answering
Clyde
that?
Drexler in this fucking conversation.
83. I said, when was the GOAT name? When you was in the league in '89, who did they say was the best player? He said everyone had their favorites. He said people thought Dr. J,
Like I
people
just
thought
fucking
Wilt,
said.
people thought
89? In 89?
He
In
said
89?
Russell. He said Magic had a claim for it, but he said there was no king yet.
In 89?
He said there was yes. He said there was no
Michael Jordan was in 89 considered the best.
So then the next year, so you said 89, right? So then the next year, the term is GOAT. So fuck out of here.
Come on, man.
But that's beside the point.
Come on, man.
Here's the
You
point.
brought it up.
Here's the point.
Why is it besides the point you brought it up?
Here is the point. When
Yeah, man.
people say they need to be in the
Again,
GOAT debate, right? The GOAT debate.
The GOAT
debate can only be the top two players. Whoever is 3, 4, 5, you are not
That I
actually in a
disagree
debate.
with. That I disagree
You're
with.
not
I
in the
disagree
race
with.
anymore.
So
right,
this
that's just life.
And
If
that's
we
why-
say who's life?
Whose life?
So let me just-
Right?
I disagree. I disagree with that, dog. I ain't gonna lie. Because literally, even if you do the track and field analogy, like, if the top three are within like 0.1 seconds of each other, you were in the race. You were in the race, dog. Like, you were, come on.
That's not a part
let
of
me
my
go back
life.
to
I don't look at that
hold on.
shit like that.
Sean, let me go back to my statement. That's why I don't
Okay, that's you.
participate
But I-
in y'all.
that's
That's why I said. That's why I was sitting here enjoying the fucking
okay,
conversation
okay.
because I don't.
Okay, that's you
I don't
personally,
think that
but
way.
that's the life.
Well,
What I'm saying
that's
is,
fine.
since we're all saying,
I appreciate everybody.
Since we're all saying, here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm saying logistically, 3, 4, 5. You're not in the debate anymore. If you're not playing anymore, you're not in this debate.
All of them
it's
haven't
only
been playing.
1 and 2.
All of them haven't been playing. The only nigga still playing is LeBron, bro. How could you even use that as a metric to do?
LeBron,
Year
Curry,
21.
what's the name? So until LeBron takes over 2 or 1, right? If whoever's 1 and 2, you guys are in the GOAT debate till someone comes to affect that.
So do they
that
have to be
affection
playing or
is
not?
LeBron.
So
So,
do they have to
LeBron came in and affected it. So that means if they move Kobe to 3, he is no longer part of the GOAT.
So wouldn't
do they have
Kobe
to
be
be playing
one
or
because
not?
Mike was out before Kobe?
You have to beat his resume still. You have to beat.
Why? You talking about stats again?
If I
You
run the
just said we're not talking about
if
stats.
Usain Bolt has been out when? How long? How long has Usain Bolt been out? Anybody beat his so they're not the fastest ever.
We're
He's
not
still
talking
the
about
king.
his stats.
He's still the king.
We've never seen anybody that fast.
He's still the king. So whoever is second, those are two in the GOAT debate. Third, fuck off.
Who was the best player you ever seen play the game, Gilbert?
Kobe.
So does that not mean greatest of all time?
Gil is killing me, bro. Gil is killing me. He has to have a like for Gil specifically. He has to be on the conversation where you literally think he's the best player of all time. You cannot sit here and say Kobe Bryant is the best player of all time, and then say he doesn't have a case to be the greatest of all. Like, come on. I was with you, Gil. I was with you, Gil, for a majority of this video. But that, you got cooked. You got cooked, bro. You got cooked.
No, it doesn't mean greatest of all time.
Okay.
How does it mean?
Damn, I wish I had to pee right now.
Hurt his Achilles. He didn't get to finish his resume the way there's a dude that's still playing 20-something.
But he was still the best player you've ever seen play the game.
Yes.
Gotcha. That don't mean that he's the greatest to you.
His resume stopped.
So you're talking about stats again.
His resume. His
Stats.
resume.
Is it resume stats?
His resume.
Is it resume-
If he's saying he's the best player he's ever seen, I redact everything I just said. Because if you didn't see Bill Russell play, or what, that's fine.
Stats.
So
His resume. There's some guys. There's T-Mac. Is T-Mac in the Hall of Fame? Yes, he was a Hall of Fame player.
Why?
Top fucking 10 talent ever. But he's not in there because he doesn't have the resume to get in the conversation.
No, he'll have a resume to get in the Hall of Fame, not the conversation.
I mean, the conversation.
I just find it funny because, again, it's funny when the players become the media, right? It's funny when the players become the media. Kenyon Martin, Kenyon Martin and Gilbert Arenas and Rashad McCants has been out media this, media that. Players walk and talk differently, but the media, y'all are the media. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's gonna come to a point where you have to accept that you guys are also the media, where you guys actually finally see firsthand exactly how these motherfuckers come to these conclusions, because we're seeing it live in action. That you, as an NBA player, as an all-NBA caliber player in your prime, is also using statistics to back up your claim. Why? Because, again, there's nothing wrong with backing up your statements and backing up your claims with stats, data, and facts. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing
Of whatever,
No,
right? He ain't like this. You still got to do it just because you look good doing it.
That's called greatness. We put T-Mac in the Hall of Fame because we never seen such talent like that at such a young age. Well, you said T-Mac.
No, I'm just saying he said the greatest conversation of all time.
Making sure.
I'm just picking holes when
Our question is it talent or is it stats? My
That's what I want to know.
This is my argument.
Mac is that.
This is my argument. When Shaquille and you say you have to put him in the GOAT debate, right? My question is, where do you have him right now, right? If you have him 2 or 1, yes, he's in the GOAT debate. If you have him 3, he can't be in the GOAT debate no more. Because number 2, if that's LeBron, he's still active. So if he's 2, then there's no more stats for Kobe. Yeah, you can raise your hand.
Question.
Mr. Martin.
I have a question. So was it only Kobe, or did everybody think that it was 1A and 1B?
When?
Period.
Only Kobe said 1 and 1.
So did you think
and
that?
a few people.
Did you think that?
When?
When he said it?
I just had him 2.
Huh?
I just had him 2. Okay. I had him 2.
So I have a question. I have a question.
Okay.
If someone's considered the next Michael Jackson, right? Like Chris Brown. Say Chris Brown. Next Michael
I'm
Jackson.
glad you did that, yes.
Right?
I'm glad you did that.
So in the conversation, say, if you're considered the next greatest of all time, it puts you in the conversation because you're the next, right? Now, if you start to build up your resume to match that, so that's why they say 1A, 1B, because I can show you highlights of them making the same moves, them doing the same things.
Oh my God.
But this is what I'm talking about, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Even with the MJ Kobe, let's just keep it MJ Kobe, right? If literally the only thing consensusly, I don't even know if that's the word. If literally the only thing Kobe has on MJ is 3-point shooting and everything else is in MJ's favor, what is the argument for Kobe being over MJ? Just because you're the closest thing to someone does not mean you're in the conversation for being better than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, dead ass. If that's the only thing Kobe got on MJ, now you might point to footwork. I think, was Kobe a better free throw shooter? I'm pretty sure Kobe was a better free throw shooter. Did Kobe have better handles? But that's what I'm like. I think we're missing what the definition of even a conversation is at this point. Like what the definition of an argument is at this point. You know? I believe X is better because I believe Y is better because I believe Z is better because, and if you can't make that point, you're not in the conversation.
So logically, it wouldn't make any sense to say this guy is number 1, this guy's on his heels because he's part 2.
He did the same thing.
But whoa.
No, this is.
No. So you got.
Oh, he's just gonna be Jackson.
You got. No. You got MJ, and then you got Chris Brown, and then you forget about a motherfucker by the name of Drake. Has he surpassed Chris Brown?
What? Did you just bring Drake in the conversation with Michael Jackson?
No, not with Michael Jackson.
With who?
He's number 1, right? You said Chris Brown was the next.
What are we talking about here?
Music, or what are we talking about?
Who's
Talent?
the bigger artist? Over,
Talent?
Yes.
We're talking about talent.
Talent.
That's what we
That's what we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
We're talking about talent.
So we need to have clarification in this conversation. So I thought you was going somewhere else, but
No.
So are we talking about talent or are we talking about art?
Artists right now, who's bigger?
Oh,
No,
Drake is arguably the biggest artist of all time. Like, but.
So he surpassed.
No, he don't surpass
the next
shit.
Michael Jackson.
How?
He surpassed him.
How?
Easy.
How?
Numbers don't lie.
Stats again. Stat man, yeah, that's me. The same nigga say stats don't matter, yeah, that's me. He can't even help it. So what? He can't even help it, guys.
Hey, Rashad is cooking right now. Rashad is cooking. And I told y'all to remember what you said earlier in the podcast. Because that's going to fuck up Gil's whole argument. That's going to fuck up Gil's whole argument.
What was your argument?
Talent. The most talented guy since he was 5 years old, Michael Jackson. Chris Brown came in and started mimicking that shit. It's like, hey, man, he could be just as talented as Michael Jackson. Damn. Same with Kobe. Man, Michael Jordan did all this. Man, that shit was fly as fuck. Then we see another nigga come in and do the same fly shit. We didn't think we would ever see anyone come in and be like Michael Jordan. And then here come this young kid named Kobe Bean Bryant doing the same shit. It's like, yo, that's scary hours. And then some of us say, he elevated that.
Wait. So
he turned that shit to a whole nother level.
Hold on. So he had more talent. So did he have more natural talent than Vince Carter?
Who?
Kobe.
No.
Okay. Then your argument just shut the fuck up. Can we move on? Because that means he's not the second best most talented player.
I guess
if
you
you
win.
just voted
You win.
goddamn Vince Carter.
You win.
So move. That means we got to go to what now?
Because if Vince Carter's number 3, that means LeBron's number 5.
Gil,
Shit, whatever.
Gil, no, you can't do that because